Hi, good morning everybody. It's me, Dr. Bob. I just thought I would do a quick welcome video for you this morning, welcoming you to the class, SNHU 291, Experiential Learning. Sometimes this is called a service learning course. It varies. I see that almost all of you are in your final term. You're getting ready to graduate, your sociology majors, so congratulations to you. I just want to cover a few brief items this morning and then let you get on with your day. First and foremost is the discussion board. I know many of you are old veterans with SNHU now, and you know that the discussion board is a big part of the course. And certainly the week 1 discussion board is probably the most important part of the course. You must participate in the week 1 graded discussion board. I'm not talking about the icebreaker now, but the graded discussion board. Otherwise, you'll be run the risk of being dropped from the course. So be sure you do that. Also, there's only going to be about maybe 5 of us in the course this term. SNHU 291 is generally a small course, class size that is. And so it's going to require a lot of participation in the discussion board to keep it lively and engaging. And I'll do my part, and I ask that you do yours as well. Okay, again, I know that many of you are familiar with what goes on in the discussion board and with the course itself, but I would encourage you always to check those weekly modules. Make sure you read the overview first, and then look at each assignment. Make sure you understand the assignment, what's due that week, when it's due. You know, your discussion board posts, your initial post is due by Thursday. Thursday 11:59 p.m. So let's say before Friday morning. And your 2 replies. Remember, you must have a minimum of 2 replies, and they have to be, detailed replies, not just, hey, that was a great post. Give me a couple of paragraphs there if you really want to get a high score on your replies. And those are due by Sunday night. So be sure you cover those. All right, so what is experiential learning all about? What is this course all about? Well, what this is a focus on symbolic interactionism. And you probably remember some of this from the Intro Soc course. Symbolic interactionism is a theoretical perspective that looks at symbols and how we use symbols to communicate with each other in our social interaction. Symbols have meaning. It's a micro perspective, right? A smaller picture, not those big like conflict theory or functional analysis. It's a smaller picture. It looks more at the interaction between small groups, if you will. So what you'll be asked to do this week is to look at symbols in what we call our everyday spaces. What are everyday spaces? Well, everyday spaces are those places where we live, our home, our neighborhood, where we work, where we socialize. Those places where we hang out just about every day. And like in the old Cheers song, right? Everybody knows your name. So, the difference is this. It's for you to look at those everyday spaces through the eyes of a stranger. You see my cat Shelby in the background there. Something about cats and closed doors. They just hate them. If I let her out, she's going to want back in. So, all right. So symbols in everyday spaces. Look at these places that we take for granted through the eyes of a stranger, and ask yourself, how would somebody else see that? Why do we do things this way as opposed to another way? And the other things you need to make sure you get started doing is with your modules, your blog site volunteer form. The problems I've seen in the past with the volunteer site form is students will say not applicable, or they just write maybe a sentence or so. We need detail there. There was a sociologist named Clifford Geertz, and he talked about in his ethnographies, and that's something else I'm going to talk about here in a second, what he called thick description. Even to the point where you're almost over-describing something. You can always cut it back. It's easier to cut something back than it is to add to it. So give me a lot of detail, a lot of examples about what's going on at your volunteer site, who you spoke to, how you interpreted those things, how you dressed, how they dressed. Look for cultural symbols, all of those things, all right? Provide examples and give detail. The other thing is you'll be looking at your Module 7 assignment. Start looking out ahead at that. Don't wait until the last minute to start working on these assignments. Work on them a little bit each day. But you'll be doing an ethnography. What does ethnography mean? Literally translated, the ethno means folkography study. Folk studies, in other words. So that's why the data that you do on your volunteer blog site is so important, because you'll be using that data to complete that final project paper. And that's most important, because that's where you're going to get all this rich detail, all your data. Okay, well, that's about all I've got for you today. I hope you have a wonderful week. Be sure you get in there as early as you can on the discussion board. Be sure you get in there on the icebreaker. Now, the icebreaker isn't graded, but it's a way for us to get to know each other a little bit. So please take advantage of that. And I wish you well this semester. I think it's going to be another great term. My phone number is out there if you need to give me a call. I ask that you reserve that really for an emergency or something like that. Remember, I'm always available by email, and of course there's a general discussion board. So have a great week, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks. Bye.